No, I'm not. This is
Okay, so it's showing the OBS. Click start virtual camera.
oh, okay. There we go. All right. I wonder if people can hear us though. Like if anyone can actually hear it. Since we have one or a couple of watchers already, if you guys are actually this is pretty sloppy, this is off the cuff. Put something in the comment if you can hear us or if you cannot hear us. Anybody? Somebody? It's growing. It's growing. Yo. Can you just fine? I can hear you. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, welcome everybody to a 9 Nerd Yards cast live stream. I'm sorry it's so sloppy and off the cuff, and I didn't really advertise this. But I got joined with me, Durjo. He just came out of the Thor Love and Thunder movie. I myself watched it last week. Got it pretty early, and I figured we would talk about it. And so off the rip, I don't know how I really want to say this, but I am heavily disappointed.
What?
Yeah, I was heavily disappointed in that shit, man.
Hold on.
It was not.
Up
And yeah,
until
we
this
haven't
moment,
talked about it. We have not talked about it.
I literally just got out of the theater before I came to Dude's place. So up until this exact moment where you said you were disappointed with it, I thought everything was leading to us saying all these nice, wonderful things about this movie.
No, man. It was not
Oh,
what it was supposed like just not in my heart.
Can I cuss on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You guys don't mind, right? We can cuss in front of y'all.
Everybody's over 18, right?
But so
damn, man.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm thinking. Damn.
Okay.
So hold on. So did you think it was funny?
Did I think it was funny?
Yeah.
No. Not really. No. There weren't a lot of moments where I was like, this is great. But there were like 3 or 4 that the dude behind me laughed out loud for.
Yeah.
So I mean it was funny to some people, obviously.
Right. Yeah, there were
I was just like, yo.
But it is a comedy movie. I think that I think that's what they were landing for, right? Just trying to make it more of a sillier take on what Thor is. Or like, I mean, I think that's what Taika Waititi's like whole transition from like the first 2 Thor movies being kind of like dark and ominous, and then the Ragnarok being like a more like sillier, lighthearted take on what Thor is. But then he kind of, for me, leaned into that way too hard in this movie.
Okay. I disagree.
Yeah.
But I think I see your point. I felt like it was strong from the open.
Yeah.
But not as a comedy. But I also didn't go in expecting it to be funny at all. I expected it to be trash. I should say that.
Really?
Yeah. No. I had very low expectations. I was like,
I think this is probably going to be like, as far as deviation goes for me, I was expecting kind of the most out of this movie. And let's try to like, okay, so let's start from the beginning then. I know this is not a breakdown, but let's start from where, from the very beginning. We get Christian Bale as Gorr.
I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't recognize him. I didn't know Christian Bale was in the movie.
Yeah.
No expectation.
So I think that what was going on with me is that I was familiar with the comic book line of like Gorr, the God Butcher, and then also like the mighty Jane Foster's Mighty Thor.
Sure.
Like I was expecting a lot from Christian Bale pulling off this kind of sinister, like radicalized zealot that's just trying to kill all gods. Okay. But he nailed every time he was on screen. For me, I love that. But when we see him walk into like his daughter dies. You know, he's lost all his hope or whatever, and then he walks into this like oasis where there's this god that he's been praying to, and that's when I was just like, whoa, where is the tonal shift coming from? I don't know who was playing the god that like is God.
Spoiler alert. Are we?
This is spoilers. Yeah, spoilers all the way for this.
Okay, so yeah, if you haven't seen this,
if you haven't seen this one, then
go watch it. Or based on his reaction, don't.
Miles already knows. He said that movie was trash. I don't know if I'm going to be alone on this, but there was just such a big. He said, "Welcome back to YouTube." I ain't been gone that long. Come on now. But there was just this
I ain't been on this shit at all, so maybe they're talking to me. Thanks.
There was that huge tonal shift though, where Christian Bale, I feel like he's really hamming it up and like really kind of like bringing in that despair, and then he meets that God, and it's just like outrageously like, oh no, we don't really give a fuck about you. Like, wait, no, I don't care. Like, you're gonna just die. I don't care about your daughter, your wife, or whatever. We didn't. That all of that shit is just trash. And he was just like so kind of like goofy and jokey about it that I was like not really like understanding that like merger of Christian Bale's like seriousness and the gods kind of like being these bumbling fools.
Oh, you felt like it was kind of over the top then?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Like, yeah, that first god mixed with Christian Bale's performance was just like super weird.
Gotcha. See, I felt like that really hit on a thing that I feel like a lot of people kind of go through, where they start thinking like, all right, is God real? I'm going through all this shit, and they're just standing by, and I'm praying, and I'm asking for this, etc., etc. And I felt like that character, whoever played that God, like really leaned into that, like, ha 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 ha, like we don't give a shit. And I was kind of rooting for Gorr at that point, like smack the shit out of this dude.
But how convenient is it that like, oh no, we don't give a shit about you, and then Gorr's like, man, I if I could kill you, I would, basically. Then the god's just like, oh yeah, well, we got this sword that can kill gods, like right next to you.
That was cheesy.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, see that sword over there? That can kill all of us.
Yeah.
You just press that one button, it lights all our asses
done. We're done. I'm like, come on,
I'm gonna hold it next to the button.
Like, watch you press it. I'm like, dude, no way. And then I also don't like the aspect that like the sword kind of like made him evil. Because I don't think there really needed to be a device that made Gorr like I completely understand his motivations without him being like evil, you know, or having a thing that makes him like just more cruel. Like, you know, what radicalized you? Oh, I met my God and he laughed in my face. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're good. Yeah. Especially that guy, he was such a dick. I'm like, no, yeah, Gorr's right.
Yeah,
Gorr is right, and he doesn't need a thing to make it so his like intentions are evil. No, he's just out for fucking blood, and that's what I thought. You know, I don't know.
He had all the motivation to be. He basically had all the motivation to do all the things he did.
Right.
But I also don't know the background on this. What is it? The Necro Sword? I don't know the background on like, you know, how it turned other people evil, where it comes from, etc., etc. So I don't know, man. Is that
and we got Duskin saying here, you know, Christian Bale's performance seems so out of place when he's talking to the kids. I mean, that limit, but that's again,
like
that's a little bit of like a
what fun story.
You're right.
Who are you?
Yeah, just that.
That was weird.
Weird, yeah. That just
I
weird.
agree with you.
And there's just a lot of limited screen time with him. I did think he was just kind of like hamming it up. Like, I think if they really would have focused on actually giving him screen time or like even like dialogue more so with Thor to like prove his point about like all gods just need to go because fuck y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all suck.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely agreed with him the whole time, but he just really wasn't in there enough. But anyway. Oh yeah. Well, also he's the god butcher. How many gods did we see him butcher?
Right. I wish we would have seen a lot more of that. We saw the aftermath.
We saw all the aftermaths and all that
Yeah.
stuff, but we only saw him like really pick up the sword and stab like that one guy.
Yeah.
I wanted to see him like really
Yeah.
take that thing out.
He was kind of weak.
Right. Well, yeah. Why have Bale if you're not going to use him? If you're not
Yeah.
going to use him, then you really could have just put just anybody in that role.
Yeah. He had the ability to be able to really do some of those action sequences that we probably would have wanted to see. They just didn't deliver on that. And I think storyline wise, though, like as far as the arc and where they could have fit that stuff in, like, oh, he went after this god, then this god, then this god.
Right.
Man, we're talking about a 3-4 hour movie at that point.
Exactly. That's kind of like what we all should. I could have taken a 2.5 hour movie.
I could
2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
If especially if we are, really kind of going to revel in what this Gorr character is bringing to the table or what he's feeling, he almost demands it just with the subject material of like your gods letting you down. It should have, but okay. So that's just the first scene. Had Gorr explained his motives, the final act wouldn't have happened. I'm going to need you to elaborate on that a little bit. But, so after that, Gorr gets his fucking sword that gives him the power to conjure shadows or whatever. And then how about you? You tell me, because now I'm kind of getting lost. I saw it a week ago. He saw it just now. So what happened like right after that? It was like
right after what?
After Gorr, like the opening credit. The opening credit, the opening. Gorr gets the sword, and then
after that we move into seeing Thor.
Rescue,
being the benevolent god.
I did like that scene. I did like that scene. That was pretty cool. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of like making their brief cameos in there, and Thor. Well, there's that like shift. I'm like, I'm not really sure what Thor is actually trying to represent in this movie.
Homer Simpson.
Yeah. Why is he so dumb?
Yeah, he's incredibly stupid.
Why is he so dumb and goofy and like just not? And yeah, he just kind of doesn't really give. He's saving people, but he's also crashing their shit.
Yeah, I think that is part of. We've seen this so many times, right? You see Homer Simpson, you see Peter Griffin, Family Guy dad. You see the male figure, that main male figure, that if you have a good cast of other characters, you can make that central male figure kind of dumb. They can still be an action hero and still be kind of dumb. And then you can give more opportunity for other supporting roles to kind of come up.
Yeah.
I think if he wasn't as stupid as he was, I don't think Jane Foster would have been able to, step into the role as well as she did.
If he was more competent.
If he was more competent,
then
we wouldn't have seen a point.
Yeah. Right. But that's the thing, though. Like, then make her way more competent then.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah,
like have her be more of a light of reason, just because maybe I just really don't know where they're leaning into with making Thor kind of like this reckless asshole, and then not really like what's his arc? I just don't really know what his arc is in this.
I think his arc throughout this is tying into what Gorr's motivations are. So I think that they really wanted to represent him as that idiot in order to say, look, Gorr's right.
Yeah.
On some level, Gorr is right.
Right.
And we're all kind of thinking that, like, yeah, why the hell are these gods like just hanging out while we're suffering and people are going through all this stuff? So I think every time that I saw Thor doing something stupid, I was in the theater like, oh, this fucking guy. Like, you know, like, why do we look up to him? Why is he an Avenger?
We don't really need to have him. Yeah, we don't really need to have him around. But I will say that, yeah, that opening scene, like, I did like that Claude, that Van Damme.
Oh yeah,
like, with the it was just like really fucking stupid, but I did like that. Like, it was just really funny.
It was a nice little head nod to the Van Damme thing.
But at the same time, so, yeah, that's when like a lot of the jokes land, I think. The Guardians of the Galaxy are like barely in it. I almost don't even know why
they were there.
Why they were there.
I think it's to set up the Guardians in the Galaxy
3 just a little bit. Yeah. I'm not sure. Tell us what you guys thought about kind of like those opening 2 scenes. The opening scene when we first see Thor, and then I think it does cut to, we get Jane Foster in her, you know, taking her chemo.
Yeah, getting chemo, right? You see her kind of struggling with that, but also at the same time being a really successful woman of science.
Yeah.
You know, published, sitting next to somebody who's reading her book.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's all cool. Like, you like that book?
Yeah.
I wrote it. Okay, Jane. There's a little Thorism in you already.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, like I just thought that was like a very interesting concept of like, you know, maybe it should be like, I thought it was actually going to be more Jane Foster versus Gorr than it was Gorr versus everybody, just because there is that like thing of like, if you have cancer, you may be very angry that there are gods. And you know, everyone on Earth knows that there are gods, like they have gods, and there's still people getting cancer and shit. I'll be like, damn, this kind of sucks.
There was a moment in the movie that I wish they really dragged out longer, and really I'm about to say something that might be no, it's not a spoiler. Gorr, you know, at one point had Jane Foster, right? And he's like saying stuff to her about like, oh, and you're dying and the gods have forgotten about you, et cetera, et cetera. You remember that? He had like that thing over her mouth and everything. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And he was like basically trying to tell them, you know, why do you still follow these people?
Right.
And I thought that was a moment that could have been dragged out more, just based on her losing faith and
that. Yeah, I feel like with that, that could have been like kind of like a more central theme of like what she's dealing with and what she's going through, and just kind of like a motif that she would have to like overcome to like not only be very much a human person dying of cancer, but also have the power to become a god to do better, but it's also killing her. I feel like they just put too many jokes into it to like actually make me take any of it seriously.
They could have really stuck that knife in a bit more and been like, you know, essentially like giving her some kind of ultimatum, like, yeah, you should turn your back on Thor, and you know, I can promise you, you know, that you'll be healed of this cancer, et cetera, et cetera. Somehow wording it so that then she, it is hot. It's real hot.
Why is it so goddamn?
Yeah, we're not used to this in this city. So yeah, I felt like they could have really driven that up a bit more so that she would have had a reason to really kind of, I don't know, fight with Thor a little bit, or go to Thor and be like, you know, he's right on some level, and had more of a discussion that's kind of revolved around that narrative of like, we're forsaken, like or these gods have forsaken us on some level. And I think that taps into something that us as the audience
are supposed to be feeling.
Yeah, like, man, I'm kind of feeling for this Gorr character, even though he's a villain. I mean, he's still a disgusting person, you know, but
he's doing bad things.
He's doing bad things. Like,
but at the same time, like, no, he's radicalized. I understand why that would, be such a why he would be such a why he would be in that situation. Why he would. I mean, and they just handed him the fucking sword that can kill gods. It's not like I don't know.
And to your point, or to somebody's point on here, they said something about like, why even have Christian Bale if you're not going to use him?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even see him as a real threat on a physical standpoint.
Right.
But I thought that, like, really, I just saw him as like a creepy guy. You got this real scrawny guy who's like leading kids into the back of what's essentially like a skeleton van or something.
Right.
Yeah,
it was got like a creepy,
like a pedophile.
Like, he's got like that van. Yeah, he's
that
got
was
creepy
my interpretation of Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Christian Bale. But when it came to the fighting scenes, he had it. He could take it to Thor. He could take it to, Jane Foster.
And it would have been really nice to see him like butcher some other gods so he can be like established as like, oh no, this guy is dangerous right now. Like he's sneaking up on him. Someone says here, let's see here, Duskin, thank you very much, Duskin, for coming with these comments. Let's see here. Yeah, the opening scene was amazing. Okay, he says that if Gorr explained his motives, the final act would have happened because he just wanted his daughter, not really to kill all gods. So, yeah, I guess that's accurate because of the sword making him do that. I just feel that he didn't really need to have. I was feeling more so like he was just out for blood, and he didn't really need to like have a redemption arc even. I kind of just wanted him to be stopped by like a brute force and not have to be like talked out of it after he dropped his corruption sword.
Sure. But in a way he was.
And then he says, the opening scene with Gorr was amazing to me. It made me root for the bad guy no matter how convenient it was. Yeah, like I did like how like seeing, I think they handled it concisely, seeing what Gorr was going through and like how much of a zealot he was, and I did root for him. Oh, that's a lot of trash over there. And then Dustin also says, I really wish we could have had more of Gorr than Thor. Yeah, exactly. And then Miles says, I don't know how cancer and God killers equals romantic comedy.
There was a lot to unpack in this movie. Comedy. There was so much. And I'm still, like, after just seeing the movie, like, literally, like, finishing seeing the movie.
Yeah, like an hour ago.
Yeah, like an hour ago. I don't see it as a romantic comedy.
Okay.
I just don't. And I didn't see it as a comedy. I didn't see it. Yeah, guy gets girl, etc. Like, following some of those kind of those cliches. But I wouldn't put it in there. I would still put it as like as an action flick. Ultimately. But there was so much to unpack. Like, there are so many sub stories kind of happening at the same time that don't get fleshed out.
Yeah, and I think they may have just kind of like put precedent over the fact that there are, I think they put precedent over like these improv-y type of jokes. Just kind of like these the Marvel quips are just basically a staple of all these Marvel movies, and I like them. I like, I don't really care. I like my superheroes quippy and everything, but with this type of subject matter, when you're talking about like the battle of like gods and men and like what's it really mean to believe and to struggle and to suffer without actually being fulfilled, and being face to face with these people and they don't care, it's just really hard to then justify the amount of jokes that they were putting in this thing.
Yeah. If they really wanted to go down a more artistic route, which I know Marvel is not known for that necessarily. I mean, stylistically, they've done some things that are great, but in terms of the story itself, they had the opportunity to do it and they dropped the ball. Like specifically, one thing I think about is in the beginning we see Gorr, murder a god, right? After that whole situation, they have the back and forth that happens, and we all look at Gorr like, oh my god, he snapped. Oh my god, no pun intended. And he snapped, right? He's evil. We've established the villain. This is going to be the bad guy throughout the thing. Okay, great. And now he's corrupted by this sword. But then later on, we see Thor in front of Zeus.
Yeah.
And there's a moment where he loses his shit. And then what happens with the Thunderbolt?
Throws it through his chest.
I don't want to
say it.
He kills Zeus in front of everybody.
Yeah.
He kills Zeus. He loses his shit because Zeus...
He kills a god. Okay.
Yeah. But to our knowledge at this time and to Thor's knowledge, he kills Zeus.
Yeah.
Because Zeus strikes down... What's dude's name?
Korg. Yeah.
Strikes him down with a lightning bolt, killing him. From our knowledge, what we know at
we
the
thought,
time,
yeah,
we thought, and in his anger, in that moment of revenge, the same kind of shit that we saw with Gorr at the beginning of the movie. This is where the parallel is. Thor catches the lightning bolt, throws it back up at Zeus, goes right through his chest, and we still look at him like the hero. And I felt like what we could have done artistically is there could have been a moment where we questioned Thor's motives, and that scene I'm not going to say that scene. I won't bring that up. But after credit scenes, watch them. I think that they could have dug down deeper into like Thor really kind of battling with, I just killed Zeus.
Right.
I just killed Zeus, and really questioning like who the good guy is, who the bad guy is. Gorr's got his motivations with his daughter.
Yeah.
Zeus killed a rock.
And then a rock person that was still like, functioning and alive or whatever.
Yeah,
and
but at the time we didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, Thor just loses his shit. Like, I felt like it was a missed opportunity to really dig down and create some more depth to his character. But then that would have went against the dumb guy, Norse god that they want to portray.
Exactly.
So they couldn't do it.
Which had more jokes, Ragnarok or Love and Thunder? Love and Thunder, I think, had... I don't know which one had more jokes. Ragnarok had better jokes. Like Tom Hiddleston as Loki in that chemistry with Thor, and then the introduction of Valkyrie. Then we got Bruce Banner, the Hulk, switching back as Mark Ruffalo. I just thought it was like really good team up of like those people are just like naturally funny together.
Sure. Yeah, the chemistry.
Yeah, the chemistry was all there. And then in this, they kind of didn't like write. I don't know if they wrote these jokes. Really.
They added.
I don't think. I think
like
they improv. I think they improv a lot of these jokes. And okay, let me talk about Natalie Portman.
Let's go. This is what
she's
I came
hot.
For. Oh yeah,
she's fucking hot. Tessa Thompson. Oh my god. Yeah, they look. They're so cool. They look so cool, and I mean the design, the costume design for Jane Foster's Thor and for Tessa were amazing. I love Thor's new suit and everything. But again, there was that point where I'm like, okay, so who is supposed to be the competent one in this situation here? Where I'm like, okay, Jane is actually kind of doing more of now of like this fish out of water. And I'm like, how long has she been playing as Thor? Like, how long has she had the power of Thor?
Yeah. She's over here running taglines, or what are they called?
Catchphrases.
Yeah, like catchphrases. Superhero catchphrases by Thor. And you've been Thor for all of, I don't know, a day?
I'm not sure how long they've been around.
Like, you're thinking about your branding? Or like... What the hell are you doing?
And yeah, so I'm trying to think like, I don't think the chemistry with her trying to be like the Marvel quippy funny one actually worked. So yeah, Thor Ragnarok definitely had, I don't know, just better jokes. It was just funnier.
I agree. Ragnarok, for me, that's what I'm going to say, had more jokes. But also part of it might be like
Sweaty.
jokes that I feel
melted on
camera. Jokes that I feel like didn't land, like you said. So maybe that's one of the reasons why I don't see it as a romantic comedy, is because the jokes did not land in a lot of cases for me. But I heard the dude behind me laughing at some things that I was just like, I don't even know that was a joke. Like, when Korg was talking about, like, near the end, when he's like, oh yeah, I found this person, Blaine. And then the dude was just cracking up. And I was like, I don't think that's a joke. I think that's just we're trying to be inclusive here at this point in Marvel. And like,
is that inclusive?
I think that's what
is Korg getting a boyfriend as a rock monster alien actually inclusive? Is that a gay relationship if he's a alien rock creature?
We need to look differently at rock monsters. That's what I'm saying. We need to accept rock monsters.
Hey, don't take it for granted.
Historically. Rock monsters have been underrepresented in the film industry.
Seriously.
Name a movie with a rock monster.
I'm struggling right now, to be honest.
See?
Now, let's see here. Oh, it was a joke. He was Dwayne The Rock. Dwayne Blaine. It was Dwayne. Was it Blaine or Dwayne?
Oh, I thought it was Blaine.
Oh, no. Yeah, that is the joke, though. That is funny.
It's Dwayne?
Hey, Miles. Yeah, because now I'm remembering. It was Dwayne. That's why it's funny, because he's the Rock.
Oh,
he's Dwayne The Rock. So,
gotcha.
So that was, I think that's a good, that was pretty good, actually. Right. And they didn't even acknowledge him killing it. Yeah, like, they really just thought he was.
They didn't acknowledge it at all. And then it just went on. It was a missed opportunity.
But yeah, so Jane Foster, and Tessa Thompson look amazing. Like, the character designs are great. But then, as Dustin is bringing up now, is that, like, her character, Tessa Thompson's character, was completely useless. Almost. Basically, she was put in this position as being king of Asgard, and Asgard has become this like tourist trap or whatever. And they got the infinity scoop
cones. Infinity cones. Yeah.
Dude, what is that? I don't know if people in that universe are looking at the Infinity Gauntlet as like a novelty. Are they? Are they really like not like?
Yeah.
Is that a symbol of like?
Yeah, actually, now that you bring that up, that's some wild shit. Because what was it? 50% of the population was wiped out from the snap, and you're gonna want to go and get ice cream from a place called Infinity Cones,
dude. I mean, the whole world probably has PTSD, dude. The whole world has PTSD, and nah, man,
that's a fucked move.
That's kind of like, I don't know, dude. It's like having like
I want an infinity cone.
Like a swastika. Fucking swastika scoops or some shit like that. Like, that's on
to
the
them.
lines. Yeah, to them.
We're not putting it on the same level here in this reality, but
in the Marvel universe, that is like the most intense event ever.
Half your family's wiped out from a snap using that glove, and then you're in New Asgard, and you're like, "Hey, want to grab ice cream?"
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what are you thinking? There's this little shop that just opened up called Infinity Cones. They can really get things done in a snap.
Yeah. That's how about this though? Well, yeah, she has this this arc where she's put it as king. It's a tourist trap now. She's also kind of feeling like, she wants to get back in the action. It's like too much politics or whatever. And then there's this event where all the kids are taken. So like New Asgard is now in peril. They need their king. But she's like treating it as like it's a whole big, everyone's treating it as a joke.
Yeah.
like, how about you address, like, I loved one of the lines in Ragnarok where, like, Odin's like, Asgard is not a place, it's a people. Like, that actually has, like, a good, like, really good message to it. Like, our home is destroyed, but you know what? We are together, and, that's what matters. But if you then next have all of the children taken, and Tessa Thompson as King is just like, what? I got this portable speaker about to go.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, come on, like, put something in here that, like, makes her badass. We had that huge, like, great scene with Tessa and Valkyrie when she's like being, like, her whole squad is being slain by Hela. It's that, like, dream sequence, and it's all, like, crazy or whatever in Ragnarok. And there's, like, a lot of weight to what, like, Valkyrie has been through, and then to, like, decide to help Thor again, like, it was great. But now she's in this position, and she's just kind of like,
it all built up to this.
Yeah.
It all built up to this. And when she had an opportunity to, this is even more messed up with the character arc. She had the opportunity to go back into battle, right? She had already been wounded. And then when given the opportunity, as king, she tells Thor, nah, if I go with you, I might die. And then what use would I be to you?
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
She just doesn't go in the battle.
Sprained her ankle or something.
Oh, I think she got, like, stabbed.
Yeah, she got fucked up.
But still, the fact that, they build up the character as, like, this warrior that would die in battle for
that
everything.
would die.
Yeah, and then she says, no, if I go, I might die. And I'd be no use to you. But it's been established that that's the most honorable death you can have.
Yeah, like, you are about to go to Valhalla then.
Yeah.
And saving these kids.
And instead, you just chose to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
Literally, sit on the bench instead of going. Like, that was it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Missed.
Who's watching? Give us some more comments before we close this out. I can't believe we've already been talking this long.
This has been fun.
This has been fun. Come on, Miles. Come on, Dustin. He's still watching. Throw something out there. Throw it out there. Let's go.
Should we talk about the kid and where the kid is going?
Now,
actually, both kids. Should we talk about Axel? Because that little kid is a badass.
I did actually like the inclusion of Axel.
Yeah, that was nice.
I felt like the whole movie was shown in the trailer. That's basically, like I remember seeing the trailer and being so hyped for what they were about to do. And then, they kind of just, like, gave us more of the trailer. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I feel that.
That's like a lot of movies, though, too. And I feel like they're trying to... I feel like most movies don't deliver in the in-between stuff. And they put the whole movie, the whole story arc right in the trailer. Like, a lot of this stuff was predictable. A lot of this story was predictable. I still really enjoyed it. But I'm also a person who... I felt like Avatar was one of the most predictable movies ever. It's so formulaic, but at the same time, I can recognize...
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I like Avatar. So we got the goats were the best part of the movie. Hard disagree. I'm sorry, Mr. Schmurder. Bobby. Robert Schmurder? Robert Schmurder. Is that Bobby Schmurder's?
Bobby, is that you?
Bobby? You go by Robert now? What the fuck was that?
Probably a gunshot. We are in Chicago.
Shut the fuck up. Let's hear. Axel floating head effect was garbage. What's he mean by that?
Oh, yeah. That was trash.
I can't remember.
That was trash. Whoever was on the...
what was the...
So he appeared to Thor just as a floating head initially and was talking
to him like, yeah. You Thor. Know what? A lot of the effects in this movie, I was like, a lot of the framing, like as just like as the cinematography goes, I was looking at it kind of like, did they really? They really kind of phoned this in on some aspects.
Sure. Like when they went to what was it, the Shadow Realm or whatever it was? The Shadow Realm. I think that's a Mortal Kombat. But wherever it was where they landed on this like tiny planet, and then Gorr showed up and did his little sword thing, and then the shadow monsters came out.
Mm-hmm.
It felt, everything was in black and white, number one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like it was trying to reference some old monster movies, the way they were moving, everything in black and white with like these almost stop motion type monsters moving. And I really liked that artistically, but it was a weird thing to do like in the moment, because obviously that wasn't happening in Thor's perception of what was happening. It was just for us as the audience. It was just meant to be a fun thing for us.
Kind of, yeah. So like
he wasn't fighting stop motion monsters,
right? Yeah, I did like the effect of like, you know, with you know, Naren Stormbreaker, like that's bringing the color, and the you know, lightning bolt is like kind of illuminating the shadow world around them, so it's like kind of like slightly bringing color back into that area. That was pretty cool. Shmurda says that Gorr looks too much like Christian Bale. I can see that a little bit. Now, I don't really care that, you know, the character design wasn't like how it is in, you know, the comic books. I didn't really need him to have like these fucking tentacles or whatever.
Oh, he had tentacles in the comics?
Yeah, he kind of like looks a little squiddy almost. Like he kind of looks like a little squid guy. Or, or I don't know. Like tentacle, like, you know, almost like a Star Wars Twi'leks, like the Shokatana, whatever has those things. But he's like black and white. But I really just care that they didn't land his representation down. Like they didn't really make me feel anything from him in terms of, and after he, yeah, I didn't really feel his motivation after the beginning scene. I was just like, okay, yeah, this guy's like on a hellbound mission. But again, if you make it so that it's the sword that's making him evil, then it's like, okay, just take the sword away and then have him wish for his daughter.
Yeah, because he had that moment of insanity, right, where he, you know, kills the god, and then the sword is able to creep in and be like, hey, we're about to kill some other gods.
Yeah.
And then it completely takes over up until the moment where sword is destroyed, and then he no longer has that urge to kill. And then the ending goes how it goes.
Exactly.
With Thor being able to talk to him, and they hashed it out, and they went and grabbed coffee.
Shawarma. Shawarma.
Yeah.
He just had, he had too little of an impact. And just really did not know how to. They just didn't know who they wanted to focus on in this movie. There's like so many people, and just not enough of any of them really.
Who was the MVP?
MVP, I would say, is goddamn
the goats.
Those goats are like after 2 times.
How memeable is that shit, though? 2 screaming goats pulling a pirate ship or whatever the hell it was, a Viking ship, on a rainbow.
It's old, bro. It's
on a rainbow.
They played too much into it. It's old.
It's like that cat. What is it? Nyan cat or whatever? You know what I'm talking about? It's a cat that's like a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
It's like on a rainbow.
Yeah,
but
it
shoots rainbows
like
out its ass. Super.
They look
rainbow. It's super, I don't know. I think it was memeable. I think it was just meant to be super fun, and it was kind of goofy in that.
So the MVP for me would probably have to be Natalie Portman, just because I just wish they would have done more for her. You know what? I'm going to say this right now. I think they could have just almost barely had Thor actually in this movie. They should have had Natalie Portman on her way to have to like go save Thor with Tessa Thompson, and like that was the whole movie, like her dealing with Gorr and trying to save Thor.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a better movie than even us like, yeah, maybe, yeah, just have her go to Olympia City or whatever, meet Russell Crowe and be like, yeah, no, all gods fucking suck.
Yeah. Yeah. And to this next point, someone left a comment saying missed opportunity to have Gorr pull up to the omnipotency. Yeah. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, why wasn't he there?
Why didn't he show up and
This is
just
not,
yeah. And then that would have been a great opportunity to just like
Is that a
lay down everybody, and then we would have to see Thor like barely conscious, maybe waking up and having to avenge someone, like go save Tessa, go save Jane Foster,
or yeah, exactly. Like, how about, I don't know, like saving the kids, all cool and everything, but I don't really give a fuck about those kids.
Fuck them kids.
I don't really care.
I don't know.
I didn't really care about them kids at all. I was just like, whatever.
But from a humanistic standpoint, you're looking at like a group of kids getting kidnapped, and you're like, yeah, they need to kill Gorr. But
in the movie, they just seem to be pretty blasé about like,
just,
well, we'll get to it.
We'll just get to it. Yeah.
We're Tom Fullen.
Parents are freaking out. Thor walks in, kind of trying to give this speech, cracking jokes, and it's like, our kids are fucking missing.
Yeah, exactly.
Some pedophile has our kids right now.
Monster.
He lured them into this thing. Oh man!
If they were going to kill Jane, why not Gorr kill her? Exactly. Put some stakes. Yeah. Like raise the stakes, just like straight up to the characters. I never really felt that any of them were in that much of danger.
Same. Yeah, I definitely, like, I asked you the question about the MVP, and I think a big part of that is like, whose story is this? Because Thor's there, but I don't feel like it's necessarily Thor's story. I feel like it's more Jane's story than anybody's story. We're watching her deal with cancer, become a hero, be told that if she lifts the hammer again, she could die because her body doesn't have the energy after using it. And then in the final act or whatever, she makes that decision to essentially give her life in order to pick up the hammer and do what? Save Thor.
Save Thor.
Save Thor. The kids, kind of. Yeah. But more save Thor.
Well, it was more to save Thor, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, fuck them kids. Like, no one really cared about them kids. But yeah, and then.
But I gotta know who this kid is now. Like Gorr's daughter?
Yeah, so like she is.
I
did kind of like the fact when they did go to Eternity, but at the same time, like I knew that they were in this like just CGI volume. Like they could use more like when you're talking about like the lands of gods and like different places. Why is it feeling just so CGI'd? Everything felt so CGI. When there's like beautiful places in just where they could just shoot on location, you know what I mean? Like I just really like big sweeping vistas aren't really the thing that they were able to pull off here, just because everything kind of felt claustrophobic from going to one CGI landscape to another.
Yeah.
But I did like a little bit about how they went to see Eternity. When I saw Eternity, I was like, whoa, like, that looks crazy.
I like that.
But then having the daughter, his daughter read, she's, what is it? Like she's reborn from Eternity?
Yeah, reborn from Eternity. She was dead. She's got a badass origin story now.
Yeah.
Born from Eternity. Her father was the God Butcher. She's got some kind of powers that we don't really know about. Like, I don't know if that comes from
She's just picking up Stormbreaker. Like, it's way bigger than her, and she's just charging with it. I'm like, what the fuck is happening there?
she zapped something out of her eyes in the end. You remember
like
at the
just
frying
like
pan?
glowing. Yeah.
Like, where does that come from? Gorr is just a guy, right?
I think it's just from her, being reborn.
Yeah. Well, and now
With
she's
those
fighting
powers.
alongside Thor, so we get like and she calls him Uncle Thor. We get some sort of father-daughter kind of relationship in the next Thor movie, maybe.
And sweet. And that's actually like Chris Hemsworth's daughter.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's actually Chris Hemsworth's. What? So I did like the chemistry that like at the end, that was we're doing Easter eggs. That was the only one. But they said the whole budget went into Eternity's Son. I mean, it was sick. I was just like, damn, that looks like it's just like the James Webb telescope pictures that are just like over. Let's see here. Miss opportunity to have Gorr pull up to the city. They were going to kill Jane. Why did Thanos make the effort to collect all the stones when he couldn't just fought Thor for Stormbreaker to enter eternity? That's also a bit of a interesting thing, just because I think I'm going to let that slide, just because there's a lot of reasons why Thanos may not have even known that was an option.
Yeah,
because apparently, like, Stormbreaker wasn't actually a thing until the end of Infinity War.
Sure.
And then also, the key to even get to eternity was a secret that only Zeus, or like a lot of other people, I mean, only some gods of omnipotent city knew how to do it.
And it was the Bifrost, though, specifically, right?
But you have to like use Stormbreaker to like have the Bifrost. Like, Stormbreaker is the key to eternity. I don't know.
I can't tell you where Bifrost comes from.
Yeah. And like, what is the difference between the lightning bolt and then Stormbreaker? Because he was just like, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Got my lightning bolt.
We didn't even touch on in any of this. Sorry, not to switch gears, but we are talking about the weapons. And through this whole thing, the romantic part of it, more than anything,
was the fucking weapons.
The weapons, bro.
Having this, like, someone explained that to me. Why are they sentient?
Yeah.
How do they have like feelings and like jealousy and shit? Like, are they actually things? He gave it a beer.
He gave it a beer. He poured a beer on Stormbreaker
while it's driving.
While it's driving,
which is fucked up.
It never, like, if I'm looking at Thor and Jane Foster, sure, they had the romance, but I didn't see it really as like the story being like about their love, right?
That's a weird thing to do.
More so than those two and their love story, it's about Thor dealing with seeing his ex, not Jane. That's part of it, sure, but the hammer specifically, seeing the hammer with his ex is bigger, because he's got Stormbreaker, who is now upset that the hammer's coming around. That's a more in-depth love story than what he and Jane are going through.
Right. Like,
and it seemed really cheesy.
It was really cheesy, and not like in a good way, just because I never considered these hammers to actually be emotionally cognitive. That was really weird for me.
It would have been really funny if it was just Thor being an idiot, just talking to his weapons, etc. Had we not had scenes like Thor is thinking about the hammer, and then suddenly Stormbreaker appears behind him, just floating there, and he's like, "What? I was just doing X, Y, Z."
Exactly. Cheesy. And Miles saying, I thought the hammer joke was funny the first time. It didn't need to be a whole B plot. Again, they do that so many times in the movie with the goats, and then Jane's catchphrases, and then the beating a dead goat. What other? Okay, this has been a fucking rant.
But it's been good, and I feel like we're still missing some things.
We're definitely missing some things. We should have probably like wrote an outline or tried to plan this shit out at all. let's see here. What other closing notes do we got here? I need to go up into the AC.
Yeah. Overall, I liked it.
What would you rate it?
What would I rate it?
Yeah.
I'd say no. I was a big fan of Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm like
Out of 10.
out of 10.
And let's say what's your favorite like Marvel movie? Like,
It might be Ragnarok.
oh
It
yeah.
might be Ragnarok.
So like you're gonna put Ragnarok at 10. I would say like Infinity War, Endgame is like my 10s.
Sure.
And so we'll just put those as like the best or whatever. And then how would you rate it? How would you rate this one then?
This one would be close to Ragnarok for me.
Okay.
Please don't hate me.
So
I'm
surprising.
sorry. Yeah. So
surprising.
it's gonna be, but I don't know if I would say it was a 10 because I think there's still room for improvement. There was room for improvement with Ragnarok. So I would put it at like an 8.5. Still really high. Still really high.
So high, dude.
Yeah.
That is so high.
I was a fan.
I would have to say this is gonna be like if Infinity War, is gonna be like my 10, then I'm gonna say I like this. It's like a 5.5 to me.
No shit.
5.5, yeah. 5.5.
Well, that's
Which is maybe a 6. Like it's barely passing for me. Barely passing.
damn. Okay.
Yeah, it gets like a D minus.
Well,
Um,
what do you think Jane's catchphrase was in the end that she whispered into Thor's ear? I think it was something dirty.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Dang.
I like when she was like, "Eat my hammer."
I did like that. There was no Hammer Time reference.
No hammer time reference.
I can't believe that.
I think what she said to him was something cheesy, like "with love and thunder" or something.
Yeah, probably something sweet right over.
Yeah.
Wish
With my love and thunder. 5.5 out of 10. Miles agrees with you, right? You said 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5 out of 10. Yeah, I may like give it a 6. I just really, I'm just surprised that like I have no motivation to, and I'm even just thinking about like Doctor Strange. I really like Doctor Strange. I did like that one a lot. I liked, No Way Home. I thought that was great. And I'm just trying to compare it to that. I just really don't know if this one's going to have any of the rewatch value that I got from Ragnarok.
So Spider-Man No Way Home, that's the one with the 3 Spider-Mans, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it.
You did not like that?
I didn't like it. That's a whole other video.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that some other time.
I didn't like it at all.
Ugh. Dude.
Yeah.
Get off my stream, bro. Get off my shit. All right, man. What's your name?
Durjo.
Durjo. Where can they find you?
You can. I have nothing to pub, so don't follow me. But I'm on Instagram at durjo.io. That's DERJO.io. I don't post anything really other than generic shit of me grabbing coffee. So that's what you get if you follow me. It's your fault.
Bam, I'll post a link to that below.
That'll be my YouTube channel. It's your fault.
It's your fault? Okay, who knows? So, yeah, I mean, this has been not a breakdown of Thor Love and Thunder. Been a quick rant. I don't really do this type of stuff. I got a new camera, guys, so I might be doing more like talking head videos while I'm doing breakdowns. Let me know what you want to see me do in the future. Probably going to be doing a Westworld and talking about more superhero shows in the next week or so. So look out for that video. But it's been 9 Nerd Yards. Like and subscribe. This one's free, but the next one's going to cost you. Peace.